Hey, hello, this is Henry Knight. Welcome to DM Talk. Here, DM Talk, got a new format too. Not a new format. It's pretty much where I talk about different subjects, 1, 2, 3 even, and we talk about many different things, and I go over it, how I feel about them, what's good, bad, all that type of stuff. But tonight we have 2 different subjects. One, we talk about if your party has basically, they go evil on you. If you're running a game and then all of a sudden you sit back, and then all of a sudden, boom, it's evil. Your party goes evil for the good of the realm, for the good of the story. Is it or is it not? What if all your players are neutral, chaotic evil, you got lawful good, you got a mixture of different alignments? Thank you, Melissa. Thank you. It's good to be back. Yes, good to be back. We're talking about if your party goes evil. If your party goes evil, and what happens if you have a game, you're into the moment with the scene, and one of your players just takes out one of your NPCs, kills them. What do? This is where, as a DM, you have to look at improv. You could have everything written, all you want, little side notes. You could be the best DM ever, or you may think you are, but your players, and I smile, a Cheshire smile comes out. Your players pull a fast one and they kill your NPC. Maybe you had an emotional scene. Maybe that NPC was important to you. Maybe that NPC was something more. You put a lot of work into that NPC. You made that NPC bigger than life. And that NPC, non-player character, dies because your players killed him. I'm smiling because it's happened to me. It happens to everyone. What do? You sit back and go, oh shit. Nope. It happens. When you're running a game, and as a DM, you have your characters, the players have freedom. Your characters, your world, all that. You can say it's your table and all that. Ultimately, have you ever read as a kid, Follow Your Own Adventures or Read Your Own Adventures? Turn to page 5. That's how it is, basically. If you turn to page 5, you're not going to know that in page 5, player number 2 has a dagger, he twirls it and throws it at your NPC. It could be an adult, it could be a child, it could be whatever. Because they went rogue on you, or they went evil. So what do? What do you do as DM to handle that? See, in my games, there's consequences. Consequences mean everything. So if you go evil, better have a reason to go evil. If your party decides to go evil and those players are doing it for the good of the realm, for the story, that's one thing. But if they're doing it, and I'm not talking about murder hobos. No, this is different. This is more personal. This is where the players are making a direct attack. It could be on the DM, but I don't think it's on the DM. I think they're getting into their story and they get into the character and they may not like an NPC, or they're going to do what they're going to do. They're going to kill him or her. You have to deal with that as DM. No cue cards and nothing you have written can ever deal with that situation. You got to be on your toes and be prepared for it, period. The main shopkeeper, that blacksmith that you had so much background. You can even hear, he's sweaty dwarf. You walk in to see the blacksmith and he says, "Hello, how are you guys this evening?" And all of a sudden you're talking with this NPC, and one of your characters flips out a dagger, or not even a dagger. Maybe they burned down the shop. Maybe they destroy everything that blacksmith has. And then they destroy the town. Because if one player does it, the other one goes, "Hey, he's doing it, why can't I?" So this leads me to the second topic which is an Oathbreaker Paladin, which is fun. I said tonight was going to be fun. And you know what? In a way, as a DM, that challenges me. That's a challenge. If your players do something like that, and you know that as a DM, your world, your psyche is consequences. There are consequences. You do something bad and you're primarily a good guy, there are consequences. If you're a paladin, you pull out that sword and you kill somebody unprompted, you better believe there's consequences. The gods are not going to look down upon you. And if they do, it's going to be hell. Fire and brimstone, baby. I mean, that's just the way it is. If you're a group of heroes, and I mean hero, what is the definition of a hero? Someone who saves a person, a creature, an animal, whatever. Whatever your convoluted definition of a hero is, and the party, guarantee you, they're going to have their own version of what a hero is. And they go in town and start saving people, cool. But then they go in one town, they take out the blacksmith, destroy the maid shop, they even go to the tavern, burn that down. So now you have the whole town in flames. My diabolical plan has... What diabolical plan? There is no plan. They just screwed everything you had in your game. They did. All for what? For the good of the realm? For the good of the story? Or do they do it on purpose? Why do players do that? You could ask yourself that question. Is that fun? When you make a character and you pick an alignment, chaotic, neutral, that's going to open yourself to do many things. Or if you're lawful good, if your outcome is to be an Oathbreaker Paladin, which we're going to talk about a little later, then what? You're going to just do it? You're not going to let the DM know? It's okay to do things out of the book. It's okay to, hey, I'm going to go ahead and pull out this sword and maybe chop a hand off and interrogate that guy. Okay. Is it okay to slaughter innocent people in a town? All because the good of the realm or the good of you? So what is that? I'll tell you what is it. There is a big problem with these scenarios. And the scenario is, as the DM, you got to sit back and improv. You got to improvise. So let's go back to the scenario. They kill the blacksmith. They burn it down, right? So at the DM, what I would do the town has a militia. The town has guards. The town has a governor. Some don't, depending on the town, how much money the town has, how much finances and stuff like that. That's all in my world. That's what I would worry about, not the players. So let's say they go into a medium-sized town, but they destroy the tavern, and they destroy the inn, the blacksmith. They kill him. They do all that. They start doing that. So then they have to deal with the guards. They get a big fight. And let's say you have a party of 7. And out of the 7 players, 3 of them are knocked out. They get into a fight with the guards. What do you think's going to happen? Not only that, I'm going to have an NPC that's fairly powerful walk in the town, and a good guy with others to put a stomping on their ass. That's the way you do it. It's not about DM and player. We're not fighting. We're not duking it out. No, it's part of the story. Because if they're doing it for the good of the realm, or if they're destroying the town because they want to, then there's consequences. If your party as a whole was known to saving people, and just because they get the fuckets and they want to kill people off the bat, there's going to be consequences. So your reputation starts to dwindle. So you go to the next town and they heard about what you did. They're going to fear you. So now you're not going to get any provisions. You're not going to get anything. Period. That's what I would do. That's called consequences. And a DM has to deal with that situation. You're not punishing the players. You're showing them, you're telling them, hey, look, you're going to go with that narrative, but now the negativity of that narrative is going to put a stranglehold on you. We could all agree on that. I mean, that's just the way it is. And if you don't do it as a DM, I'm sorry, my opinion only, shame on you. Because what you're doing is you're destroying your campaign, you're destroying your story, because you're letting the players roam and do what the hell they want. And it's okay for them to roam. I don't got a problem with that. I don't mind if they go around looking and searching and role-playing. I don't mind if they do that. But when they do stuff like, for the good of the realm, we're going to destroy this town. Why? There's got to be a why. If you are primarily a good character, and all of a sudden something happens, guess what? Your campaign is going to blow up in your face. And don't stop the game and have arguments with the players. Hey, what are you doing? No, what I would do, keep the game going and improvise. So they go to the next town. This is what I would do. The party. They try to go into a tavern because they want to get some ale. They want some drink. I got a drink. We had some fun. It's the last town. And they go into the tavern and they see 5 individuals sitting in a round table. They all have cloaks, right? That's a big giveaway. Black cloaks. So they're on their toes. They're like, oh, what's going on here? They try to start shit. The guys with cloaks are NPCs, and they would be pretty strong. The cloak, the hood drops, they pull out their swords, combat ensues. And these guys, remember I said 7, 3 characters were down already. These guys would knock out the other 4. Not saying that, again, everything that you would write or do, the dice have a stranglehold on everybody. The dice say everything. You roll, and roll in a positive way. What I mean by that is you roll honestly. If you roll to hit, they got an armor class of 15, 16 or whatnot, and you get a 19, whatever modifier you get and you hit them, then go. Don't cheat. Don't. That's not good. No. I know in some things I've read, in some articles, and even in the D&D books, they tell you it's okay to, to fib here and there. I don't believe in that. Just roll. Positive. And I'll tell you a story later on about, in fact, let me stop right here. I'll tell you a story. It's a different game. I'm not going to mention the game, but it was sci-fi. And this person was extremely strong, powerful character. And they went up against them and they were afraid and stuff. And I'm using my abilities and I'm rolling like shit, rolling horribly. And at the time, God bless his soul, Dan, Amanda, Jim, Luke, Eric, all of them, man, they were just whomping on this guy. They were my old crew from back up north. And I'm telling you, when I rolled so much. I rolled so badly. But I rolled honestly. I even rolled in front of them. It was a horrid roll. But you know what? That made it fun. The bad guy comes in. That's a moment, right? The dice are in control. Remember, it's a role-playing game. So let's go back to the tavern situation. So let's say that the party gets knocked down. Now, the party's out for a count, but these NPCs are not evil. They want answers. They want to know why they did that. Because they're good. They're lawful good characters. So a fight ensues, and most of the party is down. They're down, they have a conversation, and out of the role-playing, they get answers. They say, something came over us. One of the guys makes a deception roll, and he rolls really good. The player rolls a 20, let's say. And he rolls good, and he comes up with a story saying, something evil came over us. We don't know what happened. Oh, I don't even remember what happened. I'm so sorry. So they get into this role playing. So that moment you had at the town before becomes something more. So now the players are banking on a lie. Can that lie hold? So now you have these good characters that rise above it all now. They have to either forget about what happened in the past or change their future by doing things good. So what happens? What happens to the characters? Do they fall when they go to this town? Do those answers to those questions that these heroes in the tavern say, will everybody else believe them when they get interrogated again, when they get asked again? Will the rolls be better than a 20? Can they keep that consistency? Can they all of them agree and say, we're going to keep our story? Yeah, we were controlled by a demon. Something happened that made us do these things. Or maybe out of the 5 heroes of my NPCs, 1 or 2 of them don't believe them. Consequences. That's very important. I believe that highly. And every DM should as well. And I know some DMs don't, but you know what? It's okay. Everybody has their own thing. But in my table, there are consequences. They all know it. They don't just go in there and start slaughtering people. But it all depends on their alignment. I use alignments a lot. And I watch the alignments because it's important. If you're neutral, I can see. But even if you're neutral, even if you're chaotic neutral, even if you're a step up or a step down, it doesn't matter. You're with a party that does good. You protect each other. If you're doing things for the good of the party and you're doing it to escape maybe an evil governor, somebody's chasing you, you have a reason. That's different. It's all story form. And I know that's just a connection to murder hobos, but in a way, but it isn't. Because murder hobos, you just go into town and you start killing people with no story, no nothing, and you go in and kill people, and that's stupid. I don't allow that at all. But what I just talked about is completely different. There's some similarities, but it's different. Because if they're doing it for the better of the story, that's 100% different. Okay, now let's move on. The next thing I want to talk about, subject matter, is the Oathbreaker Paladin. Now, what's an Oathbreaker Paladin? We all know what a paladin is. You know, he has a sacred oath that the paladin follows. He's the good guy in my favorite class. I don't play Oathbreakers. I play full-fledged paladin. Good guy, a Boy Scout, Superman. That is a class. I love paladins. But Oathbreakers. At level 3, Hellish Rebuke. Inflict wounds. Already at level 3, he's a beast. Now, an Oathbreaker means that somewhere down the line, you pursued dark ambitions and you serve evil power. Your focus on being a good guy, on being on your oath, your purpose is gone, dwindled to nothing. So at level 3, you get Hellish Rebuke. As the Oathbreaker grows in power, Paladin Oathbreaker, he gets at level 5 Crown of Madness and Darkness. At level 9, Animate Dead and Bestow Curse. He is a beast. Level 13, Blight and Confusion. So if you're playing this Paladin, and before I continue, let's go back to the town I just mentioned and the group. Remember I said it's not like the murder hobos? Here it's a difference. In the group you have a Paladin doing good. And all of a sudden, he cannot stand things anymore. His focus changes. Instead of doing good, he starts to do things bad, but little by little. What do I mean by that? He doesn't save people like he used to. He's not the first one to give his 3 gold pieces that he had left. He's not the one that he's going to chop down that demonic force. He's going to step back and let the other party members do things. Little by little, that paladin starts to change. He starts to evolve into something different. If you go down the Oathbreaker path, it's strong. It is very good for story because now you're dealing with, for example, Luke and Vader from Star Wars. Same thing. You have this issue in your head. You're confused, you're angry. And no, you're not a Jedi. No. But those are the things you have to think about as a paladin. As a paladin, you're no longer that Boy Scout. A carriage flips over. They're being attacked by goblins. And a queen and a king is in that carriage. A paladin would run over to the carriage to try to save him, to take out the goblins as quickly and best to his ability, or her ability. What happens if you're an Oathbreaker? If you start to change and evolve, so you go to that carriage, and instead you watch the goblins kill the king and queen. And then you take their gold, whatever they got, and you're happy. That's an Oathbreaker. We're going at, I said 13th level, he gets Blight and Confusion. Now, level 17, as he grows in power, let me go back. At level 15, he gets Supernatural Resistance. Now, what is that? If you have, he's resistance to just regular weapons. If you don't have magical weapons, he's resistance. And what does resistance mean in D&D? It's half damage. So if you have this beautiful sword that does heavy damage, you're going to give him half damage because he's resistant to it. Unless that sword has different qualities and, well, that's another story. But supernatural resistance is fantastic. That's at level 15. And then on 17, he gets Contagion and Dominate Person. And that's not even bringing in his channeling, because he channels, he has Dreadful Aspect. And what does this do? He channels the darkest emotion and a burst of magical menace comes out. That's Dreadful Aspect. And that's really cool. And let's go back to earlier levels. Aura of Hate. And then Aura of Hate is awesome. Within 10 feet, you get a bonus. And a bonus to your melee weapon, a +1. Your charisma modifier. And at 18th level, this increases. That is fantastic. The feat increases as well. That aura. So, right now, you have this beast that comes into town instead of a paladin. And everybody looks at him and he sees he has this beautiful armor. I'd say he had plate and it was silver. And he has a two-handed sword. Nothing out of the ordinary. But he just comes in. He looks pissed off, but he has his helm that covers up some of his eyes, but it just drops down to his nose. And his beard that he has out sprawls completely out to his chest, but it's with snot, it's wet. He's been in combat. There's blood all over his armor. And he heads to the town, he's pissed off. An Oathbreaker doesn't want to deal with anybody's crap. And everybody's like, oh, the Paladin is coming to town. He's our hero. But he's pissed off. He's got all this rage. What do you think is going to happen to everybody in that town? Not good. He could raise and animate the dead at 9th level. Well, let's go to the 20th level. Aura of Gloom. It lasts a minute and it does 4d10 psychic damage. Can you believe that? 4d10 psychic damage. And any creature that has sight, regular sight, that relies on sight, does disadvantage, and it takes 3d10 plus your charisma modifier. So the person who has sight, right, can see, is going to be at disadvantage. That is Aura of Gloom. So now you have this force to be reckoned with going into your town and causing some major issues. What is Animate Dead? Well, simply the name says it all. Animate the Dead. Very interesting ability, because Animate Dead, if you're an Oathbreaker Paladin, when you are in town, okay, and it's a school of necromancy, it creates an undead servant. Can you imagine an undead servant? And it is under your command. A target becomes a skeleton if you choose bones or a zombie, if you choose a corpse. You can use this undead to mentally command the creature within 60 feet, and it's on your bonus action. You have this control over 24 hours. And you know, game terms, 24 hours, that's a long time. You know, especially if you look at combat and so forth. Animate Dead, you have them. So you have this force coming into town. He used to be a good guy. But what if his armor wasn't tarnished? What if it was in perfect condition? Again, same paladin. His beard's out, the armor comes around his nose. He has all these feathers on his helm. It drops down. He's got a beautiful sword at his side. It's shining. The gold armor, per se. Let's say he was an aristocrat. Let's say he was, you know, this paladin was very wealthy and his armor is made of gold. Why not, right? He walks into town, people are like, hey, paladin, yay! Ooh! And then guess what? He starts slaughtering everybody. Because in his mind, his oath is broken. He's changing. And the only thing he has in his mind is hate. The only thing he has in his mind is death. And he doesn't want to deal with anybody's crap. Period. Do you have to run the Oathbreaker that way? No, absolutely not. You can run the Oathbreaker however you want. You're the player. If I were playing, I would run him that way. I would run the Paladin, the Oathbreaker Paladin, having issues doing good and doing bad, because he's trying to break free of all he's done in his life, good, of all the oaths he's taken, of all the everything that he's done in his life that was good. He wants that all washed away, and he wants to change. So now, retrospectively, you have to roleplay those moments, which are special. Oathbreakers have a unique ability. Let me look this up real quick. Let me go back. Oathbreakers are kick-ass, period. They're probably one of the best classes of the D&D, period. That's just my opinion. I know somebody else is going to come on here and say, no, you know what? It is what it is. But paladins, they're just monster damage. And this guy, if you do him well. Now, think about it. You haven't even picked feats. If you decide when you go up levels to pick feats, to pick accordingly, or let's say you're going to put up all your abilities. When it's time to level up, and then it's time to either do a feat or an ability, you choose, I'm going to put everything into my abilities. You're going to be one hell of a character. Now, do they have their flaws? Yeah, they do. Will I run an Oathbreaker Multi-class? Hey, no. Absolutely not. No, 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 no. I want everything on that stat block. I want everything on that sheet. If I'm going to get at 13th level Blight and Confusion, I want that. I want those things. I don't want halvesies. Best of both worlds. No, that's stupid. Why would you do that? You want to encompass. You want everything that encompasses the Paladin. Everything. If you want the Oathbreaker to be a well-rounded, full-rounded Oathbreaker, you want him to be completely one class, not two. Oh, but you get these guys, go to Reddit, and you get all these builds that are pretty gnarly. And they are. They're kind of cool. But you know what? That's not for me. When I play them, I want a full Paladin. I don't want a Paladin rogue. I just don't want a Paladin fighter. I don't want those things. I want a full Paladin. And trust me, they're a force to be reckoned with. Because I've played them before and they've done well. They've done well. Combat, they're a beast. Once type, two, you can kick some serious ass. Now, what are the bad things about being an Oathbreaker? Well, like I just mentioned before, people are going to see you differently. You're no longer that good guy. You're no longer that Superman. You're no longer that goody two-shoes going to save the world. Nope. You are an Oathbreaker. And guess what? It's up to you to roleplay the character the way it should. If you're going to go Oathbreaker, go all the way. Don't hold back. But if you want to roleplay, the struggle is real. From good to evil. Yeah, do it. The more the merrier. That's awesome. You're intensifying the scene. 2, you're making things awesome for the DM. You are. You're creating a story with the DM, which is fantastic. And if you roleplay the character right. Now, you have one called Channel Divinity, Control Undead, and Dreadful Aspect, which I mentioned. Man, and that's at 3rd level. Control Undead is just fantastic. Again, if you like that stuff, if you like Oathbreaker stuff, if you like Undead, if you like that darkness, that deep sadistic mind of the Paladin, by all means do it. Okay, so now you look at the character, right? All right, now let me see here. Let's go look under a Paladin, right? Let's go with the Oathbreaker. Yeah, here we go. Okay, so you could dominate a person as well at 17th level. Channel Divinity. I said that before. Control Undead. You target an undead creature within 30 feet of him or her. A target must make a wisdom saving throw. Yeah. We all know what he does. So, if your undead, his challenge rating is equal or greater than the Paladin's level, is immune to his effect. So, if he's higher than you, then you're screwed. But if he isn't, you got him, baby. So there is different oaths. You know, you have the partnered content. It's in the D&D source material as well. You can look up those those things for yourself. I'm not going to go over them. The spells are pretty gnarly. If you look at like Hellish Rebuke, let's go over that. You point your finger, and that creature around them, flames come out, hellish flames, and that creature has to make a dex save. Right? He fails it, he takes full damage, but he saves, half damage. We all know how that goes. That's simple. But 2d10 fire damage, so that's 60 feet. That's really cool. Bestow Curse. I didn't go over that one. I didn't. You touch a creature, right? And they have to make a wisdom save. And if they fail, then I choose one ability. While cursed, the target has disadvantage to ability checks and saving throws. That ability score. While cursed, the target has disadvantage on attack rolls against you. So you have a lot of options there. Oh, by the way, folks that are watching, thank you for watching tonight. It's fantastic to have you here. It's great to be back. I was on vacation, like I said before, in Creatures of the Realm. I'm back. I'm pumped. I'm good to go. I love doing this. Love you guys, and I'm glad you're all watching. All right, so let's continue. The Paladin, Oathbreaker. So I already said that the Oathbreaker has certain ambitions as I first started when I stated the Oathbreaker in the first place. Now, the light in the Oathbreaker's heart is gone. Boom. So now you're going to pursue evil. When you pursue evil, you get all these nifty stuff like darkness. We all know what darkness is, right? For 60 feet. 15 to 60. And if you're going to use a spell, verbal, hand movements, you know what that is, the components. So, a creature with dark vision can't see through his darkness and non-magical light until it can't illuminate it. Meaning, you have to have magic to see it. You have to have a certain magic ability. If not, if you have a lantern or some form of light source, it's not going to go through dark vision. So, again, very cool. What else do I have to say about the... I went over Aura Hate. Yeah, I did. At 7th level, the Paladin, as well as any fiends and undead within 10 feet of the Paladin, gains a bonus to melee weapon. Oh yeah, I did say this. A +1 modifier. Very cool. Very, very, very cool to have. I already mentioned supernatural resistance. Oh yeah, Dreadlord. Here we go. I did mention 40-10 psychic damage. That's massive. If you get a 10 and all those die, you're gonna screw somebody up big time. Now, let's take a look at a Paladin. You're a good guy, right? And this is why I like playing a Paladin. Divine Sense, Lay of Hands. Yeah, baby. Divine Smite. Level 2. Level 3, Divine Health, Sacred Oath. Get your extra attack or a protection, level 6. Level 8. Now remember, I'm comparing the Paladin against the Oathbreaker. The Oathbreaker has massive attacks. You can, control undead, flames around the character, Hellish Rebuke, all that stuff. That's cool. But if you look at the regular Paladin, he's a force to be reckoned with, baby. Look, Aura of Courage, level 10. Improved Divine Smite, ability score improvement, level 12. Cleansing Touch, Sacred Oath feature. Here we go. Oath features. Douse the flame of hope. Rule with an iron fist. Strength above all. Man, it's some cool shit. It really is. Let's go back here. Level 20, Sacred Oath feature. You pick another one. And you look at the spell slots. At level 20, 4, 3, 3, 3, 2. What does that mean for D&D jargon? First level, second level, third, fourth, and fifth. He is a badass motherfucker. Sorry. He is. Hands down. He is. Now, the Oathbreaker, despite of all the crap that he can do, despite of all the damage that he can do, despite of all the deadly things he can do, how do you counter all that? Improve Divine Smite. Aura of Protection. Look at this, man. There's different categories. Aura of Courage. Improve Divine Smite. Here we go. I'm going to read it for you so you guys know. Starting at 6th level, whenever you are friendly creatures within 10 feet of you must make a saving throw. The creature gains a bonus to the saving throw equal to your charisma modifier. Same thing as the Oathbreaker. Minimum a bonus of +1 charisma modifier. You must be conscious to grant this bonus. And that increases at 18th level, the range of the aura increases 30 feet. So what does this do? Look at this. Warding Bond. The spell wards a willing creature you touch and creates a mystic connection between you and the target until the spell ends. While the target is within 60 feet, you gain a +1 to AC and saving throws. And it has resistance to all damage. Resistance again, half damage. That is a key word. That gets me pumped because it is fantastic. Period. Let me see here. So, and this is just the Paladin. Let's go back to the Oathbreaker. Okay, let's look at the real big bad. The real Crown of Madness. One humanoid of your choice that you can see within range must succeed a wisdom saving throw or become charmed by you for the duration. Components, verbal and somatic. 120 feet. That is probably the whole table, depending how big your combat scenario is. The target is charmed in this way. A twisted crown of jagged iron appears on his head, and madness glows in his eyes. The charmed target must use its action before moving, or each of its turns to make a melee attack against a creature other than itself that you mentally choose. So right now, it's concentration, but you are using something very good and creating a mess. That is the Oathbreaker in the nutshell. Doesn't matter what you say, what you do, the Oathbreaker does that. Okay, so now, what are the different oaths? All right, so you have Oath of Conquest. You seek glory. and you subjugate. Seek glory in battle and the subjugation of their enemies. Okay. It gives you Tao's Flame of Hope, Rule of the Iron Fist, Strength above all. It's Oath of Conquest. Oath of Devotion. Justice, virtue, and order. That's the oath. I'm going over all of them quickly. Oath of Glory. Glory is exactly what it is. You achieve glory through the deeds of heroism. Redemption. Sets a paladin on a difficult path and requires a holy warrior to use violence only as a last resort. There you go. Oath of the Ancients, an old race of the elves and the rituals of the druids, sometimes called Fey Knights, Green Knights, or Horn Knights. There you go. Oath of the Crown. You are sworn to the ideals of civilization, spirit of the nation, fealty to the sovereign, or service to the deity of law and rulership. No matter what oath it is, it's all good. Just remember that. Oath of the Watchers. Binds paladin to protect mortal realms from the predators, creatures, all that type of stuff. Again, I'm flying through it. Oath of Vengeance. Punish those who commit sins. And that can be up to the story and the DM. And then the Oathbreaker. And then the cause of righteousness. I mean, those are the things that you have to look at 100% in a game. And as a DM, your players, how well you run those classes. You could have a class, and if you don't run it well, it's not going to mean shit. It's not. And let me tell you why. Because when you have a good class like the Oathbreaker, you are, if you don't know what you're doing, it's just going to be a complete mess. Then play a fighter. Fighter is easy. Oathbreaker is role-playing as well as these abilities. And the Paladin as well. Like it said, no matter what oath you pick, you're still good. You have some honor, some love, an oath. You've taken an oath to follow these rules, a set of rules that you must bestow to go ahead and save the world or whatnot. You are a good guy. You're a Superman. That's what I call it. Because you are. And by the way, it's my superhero. Anyways, that's all I have for you tonight. But I love you guys. Thank you for watching on Facebook, Rumble, Twitch, and YouTube. I appreciate it. I will see you guys next week. But tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central, here on Playerole, watch Campaign 2, Episode 2, What Happens to Orphans of the Light. Tomorrow, we'll know. Thank you very much. I will see you guys tomorrow night.